Hello everyone, welcome to Amrita IAS Academy. Myself Ambu P. Kumar. As a part of our civil service examination process, today I am going to discuss about the geography questions of 2021 civil service preliminary examination. Okay, without any delay, I am going to the questions. Discuss the first question now. So, question number 1. Consider the following statements. In the tropical zone, the western sections of the oceans are warmer than eastern sections owing to the influence of trade winds. Second statement, in the temperate zone, westerlies make the eastern sections of oceans warmer than the western sections. Which of the following statements given are correct? Okay, so this is a highly conceptual based question. Okay, here we have two major concepts. First one is related to the surface winds, okay, prevailing winds of the world, and second one is related to the ocean currents. Okay, so we'll go back to the first statement. In the tropical zone, okay, here in the tropical zone, the western sections of the oceans are warmer than the eastern sections of the oceans owing to the influence of trade winds. Okay, so here we have two keywords, tropical zone and trade winds. Okay, and again in the temperate zone, westerlies make the eastern sections of the oceans warmer than the western sections. Okay, now how to solve this particular question? Okay, we will start with the basics. Okay, so we know that our earth is divided into different latitudes, right? So we have 0 degree latitude here, 30 degree latitude here, and 60 degree latitude here, and we have 90 degree over here. So similar to this, in the southern hemisphere also we have same latitudes, right? 60 degree and 90 degree. Okay, now what are the patterns of prevailing winds? Okay, so you may all know that we have prevailing winds in different prevailing winds in the different latitudes, right? So in the tropical latitude or between 0 to 30 degree latitude, we have trade winds, right? So the trade winds are flowing in this direction, right? We have northeast trade wind and southeast trade wind. Northeast trade wind in the northern hemisphere and southeast trade wind in the southern hemisphere, right? And we have westerlies in the middle latitude, right? Between 30 degree and 60 degree, we have what? Westerlies. So in the northern hemisphere, westerlies move in this particular direction, and in the southern hemisphere, westerlies move in this particular direction, right? So now consider a continent and an ocean. Okay, suppose we have two continents. Okay, suppose we have continents A and B. Okay, I draw this figure just in order to explain how these trade winds are affecting the movement of ocean currents. Okay, if you know the basics of that particular phenomenon, then you can easily answer the question. Okay, so suppose this is continent number A and this is continent number B, and we have an ocean here. Okay, suppose this is the equator, which is 0 degree, and we have 30 degree latitude here and 60 degree latitude here. Okay, above that we have what? 90 degree and everything. Okay, so this is the distribution of latitude. So these are two continents. Now what happens? So we know that we have two trade winds in the northern and southern hemisphere, right? Okay, so in the northern hemisphere we have trade winds. Okay, so trade winds passes through both oceans and continents. Okay, now what happens when trade wind passes through ocean floor or the surface of ocean? Okay, so when trade wind passes through the surface of ocean, the wind will pull away the water in this part of ocean towards the equator. Okay, so there is a movement of ocean water like this. Okay, so this water movement results in the formation of what? Our equatorial current, warm equatorial current. Since the tropical region receives high amount of sunlight, the water on the surface of the earth will be warmer. Okay, when trade wind pulls this water towards this side, there will be one current which we called as what? North equatorial current. Okay, in every ocean we can see north equatorial current, and this is due to the effect of what? Trade winds. Okay, when trade wind pulls the water from this particular area towards the equator, what happens in this particular area. There, in that particular area, what happens is that the cold water from the subsurface of the ocean, the cold water from the subsurface of the ocean will upwell towards the surface. Okay, so we will get cold ocean water in this particular area due to upwelling, and the pulled away water from this particular area will reach to the western part of ocean. Okay, now we have what? On the western part of ocean in the tropical latitudes, warm water, and along the eastern part of the ocean, due to the upwelling phenomena, along the eastern part of the ocean we will have cold water. Okay, now we will go back to the first statement. In the tropical zone, the western sections of the ocean are warmer than eastern section owing to the influence of trade winds. Okay, now we will go back again. So, along the western sections of the ocean, what we have? We have warmer water which was pulled away from the tropical regions by the trade winds. Okay, now compared to the western part of ocean, eastern part is cooler just because of the phenomena of upwelling. Okay, so the first statement given here is correct. Okay, so the first statement is correct here. Okay, I'll show you the movement of ocean water, the world map of ocean water movement or ocean currents. Okay, you can see that here we have 30 degree and here we have 0 degree latitude. Here along the equator regions we have north equatorial current in all the major oceans. Okay, suppose we consider this Atlantic Ocean. Okay, here we have equatorial current. Then on the western part of ocean, this equatorial current is what? Flowing through there. So the equatorial current is again warmer. So this region will be warmer. Okay, then along the tropical regions of almost 30 degree latitude, since the trade winds are flowing like this, the water will be pulled away towards equator, warm water will be pulled away towards the equator. So there will be upwelling along the what? Eastern sections of ocean. Okay, so there will be what? Generation of cold ocean currents. Okay, so that is in every major oceans you can see this type of phenomena. In the Atlantic Ocean you can see Canary current, Canary cold current. Here we have Gulf Stream and North Equatorial current which is warm. Okay, in the Pacific Ocean we can see California current which happens due to upwelling, and along the western part of ocean we have Kuroshio warm current. Okay, so the first statement is right. Okay, now in the temperate zone, westerlies make the eastern sections of the ocean warmer than the western sections. Okay, so along the temperate zone. Now we will go back to the slide again. Now what happens? The water will start to flow like this. Okay, so westerlies are present in the latitudes which is between 60 degree and 30 degree. So this westerlies, what they do is they will pull away the water from western parts of the ocean to the eastern parts of ocean. Okay, that will be if it is easier to understand in the world map. Okay, here we have Gulf Stream in the western part of Atlantic Ocean. Now we have what? Westerlies between the latitudes of 30 degree and 60 degree. Now what happens? The warm water in this particular area or western part of Atlantic Ocean will be pulled away by the westerly winds. Okay, pulled away from the western part of ocean to eastern part of ocean by the westerly winds. Okay, so this water goes to the eastern part of that particular ocean. Okay, here again we can see the Gulf Stream which continues to flow as a North Atlantic drift. It reaches the European region, and this water is warm just because Gulf Stream was warmer. Okay, now the water from this particular area is pulled away by the westerlies. So the same upwelling phenomena happens in this particular region also. Okay, upwelling phenomena happens. Again, water from the cold polar regions flows towards this area. Okay, so compared to the eastern part of ocean, here we will have what? Cold ocean currents due to upwelling, and again due to the cold ocean currents from the polar region. Okay, since this warm current went to eastern part of ocean, we can see that in the temperate latitudes, okay, eastern part of the oceans will have higher temperature than the western part of the ocean. Now we will go back to the statements again. In the temperate zone, westerlies make the eastern sections of oceans warmer than the western sections. Now that is again correct. Okay, this is how the basic concepts helps us to solve the answer. Actually, this is a very conceptual question, and if you know the concepts thoroughly, it is easier for you to answer this particular question. Okay, so the answer is C, both 1 and 2 only. Okay, now we will go to the second question now. This is a favorite area of UPSC. UPSC usually asks questions from based on rivers. Okay, consider the following rivers: Brahmani, Nagavali, Subarnarekha, Vamsadhara. Which of the above rise from the Eastern Ghats? Okay, which of the above rise from the Eastern Ghats? Okay, now you have to, you should not confuse this particular question. Okay, there are so many rivers which are flowing to the eastern part of the country and which flows through the Eastern Ghats. But all those rivers are not originating from Eastern Ghats. Okay, so here if you know the map, river map of India, you will understand the fact that here in this particular question, Brahmani and Subarnarekha, these two rivers are not originating from Western Ghats. Okay, so by eliminating 1 and 3, you will arrive at the option B, 2 and 4 only. Okay, so here you have to be thorough with the rivers map. Okay, you have to understand the basic map of rivers. You have to be thorough with the origin and major tributaries of major rivers of India. Brahmani and Subarnarekha are major rivers of India. Both are in Odisha district, Odisha state. Okay, now the answer is B, 2 and 4 only, Nagavali and Vamsadhara. These two rivers are originating from Eastern Ghats and flowing to the Bay of Bengal. Okay, Nagavali is in Odisha and Vamsadhara is in northern part of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so it is a factual question, but if you are thorough with the map, then it will be easy for you. Okay, so this is the map of Subarnarekha. Okay, Subarnarekha originates in the Ranji Plateau in Jharkhand. It is not from the Western Ghats. Now, Brahmani, we have Brahmani here. So it originates near to the Chotanagpur Plateau. Okay, not from the Eastern Ghats. Okay, so the map of Nagavali and Vamsadhara is not shown here, but you can search that. Okay, those are small rivers. It originates from Eastern Ghats and flows towards the Bay of Bengal region. Okay, so that's the answer. Now we'll go to the next question. Again, a question related to the rivers. With reference to the Indus River system, of the following 4 rivers, 3 of them pour into one of the which joins the Indus direct. Among the following, which one is such river that joins the Indus direct? Chenab, Jhelum, Ravi and Satluj. Now, this is a tricky question and answer can be tricky also. Actually, we don't know which is the exact answer of this particular question. Okay, when the UPSC key comes out, only we can understand which is the exact question. Okay, now in this particular question, they are saying that we have 4 tributaries of Indus. Out of those 4 tributaries, 3 of them pour into one of which joins the Indus direct. Okay, there are 4 tributaries for Indus, and out of those 4 tributaries, 3 of them joins to another river, and this particular river again joins Indus directly. Okay, now if you look into the map of Indus River system, we can see that we have Jhelum here, Chenab here, Ravi here, and these 3 rivers joins and it is again called as Chenab. Okay, and this river joins with the Satluj in this particular point, and this river then joins the Indus directly. Okay, now the confusing factor is here. Chenab joins the Satluj. Now what is the name of this particular river? Is it Chenab or is it Satluj itself? Okay, as per my understanding, it is Chenab. Okay, some books has written that the river which joins Satluj and continues to flow towards Indus is Chenab. But some other books and some other institutions are of the opinion that Satluj is the answer. Okay, now we don't have any exact idea about this particular confusion, so we have to wait till the release of UPSC key 2021 prelims key. Okay, now so the answer can be A Chenab or D Satluj. Okay, so we can eliminate these two options. Okay, so when UPSC key comes, we can confirm this particular answer. Now we'll go to the fourth question now. With reference to India, Didwana, Kuchman, Sargol and Khatu are the names of glaciers, mangroves, Ramsar sites, saline lakes. Now, this is a kind of factual question. If you know the answer, you will get the right answer. Okay. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Okay. If you don't know anything about these three keywords, then it is difficult. Okay. So many students have made this answer wrong. Actually, the answer is D, saline lakes. Okay. So here there is one keyword which is Didwana. Didwana is a saltwater lake in Rajasthan. It is a famous saltwater lake in Rajasthan. If you know that particular fact, then you could have arrived at these answers. Okay, this is a kind of factual question which is being asked. Okay, so there is no concept to explain it that these are the local names of saline water lakes. Okay, so here the answer is D. Now, fifth question. With reference to the water on planet Earth, consider the following statements. The amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than the amount of groundwater. The amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is more than the amount of groundwater. Now, which of the following statements given above are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Okay. Now, if you have studied the NCERTs of geography plus 11th and 12th class geography, then you could have easily answered this particular question. Because in the NCERT, there is a chart given. Okay, I'll show you the chart. This is the chart of water on the Earth's surface. Okay, this is the table given in your NCERT. And this is explaining about the different water resources or reservoirs in the planet Earth and how many percentage of water is there in each resources. Okay, now we will go back to the question now. First statement is talking about amount of water in the rivers and lakes. Okay, rivers and lakes is more than the amount of groundwater. Now we will go back to the table and check. Okay, we have lakes here and we have streams and rivers here. Okay, so lakes have only 0.01% of water and streams and rivers have only 0.001% of water of surface of Earth. And what about groundwater? Groundwater has almost 0.68% of total water in the Earth's surface. So the amount of groundwater is very much higher than the amount of water in lakes and rivers. Okay, so the first statement, the amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than the amount of groundwater, is wrong. So the first statement is wrong. Okay, now we will go to the second statement. The amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is more than the amount of groundwater. Amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers when compared to groundwater. Okay, we will go back to the table again. We have polar ice caps and glaciers, here, and it consists of 2.05%, and we have groundwater here, it is only 0.68%. So the amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is higher than the amount of groundwater on the surface of Earth. Now, this is the same statement given here. So the statement 2 is right. Okay, so the answer is B, 2 only. Okay, so please go through the NCRTs because questions are directly asking from the NCRTs. Okay, not only in the geography, you can see any from any subjects. Okay, especially in polity, economics, history. Okay, questions are directly being asked from NCRTs. So please be thorough with your NCRT books. Okay, so we'll go to the next question now. The black cotton soil of India has been formed due to the weathering of brown forest soil, fissure volcanic rock, granite and schist, shale and limestone. Okay, now we know that India have so many soil types like alluvial soil, black soil, laterite soils, red and yellow soil, right, forest soils. Okay, now all these soils are formed due to different reasons. The alluvial soils are deposited by the rivers which were flowing through the from the Himalayan region. Now, what about the black soils? Black soils are formed due to the volcanism happened in Indian Peninsula during the Cenozoic period. Okay, so in the Cenozoic era, there was a volcanism in the Indian Peninsula part, and this volcanism has resulted in the formation of volcanic rocks, and this volcanic rock further eroded into black soil. Okay, now these black soil regions of India are commonly known as the Deccan Trap regions. Okay, I will show you the map. These are the black soil regions of India. Okay, so only this part of Indian Peninsula experienced the volcanism in the Cenozoic era. Okay, when India was moving from southern part of, India was moving from Antarctica towards this Eurasian region, this particular volcanism happened, and due to the magma movement to this much wider area, and in the future time, what happened was there was erosion due to different agents like rivers and wind, and these volcanic rocks have eroded into what? Black soil. Okay, so the black soil is a result of, or it is formed from the weathering of fissure volcanic rock. B is the correct answer here. Again, these black soil regions are famous for cotton cultivation in India due to the properties of black soil. Okay, so this is the basic physical geography of India. Okay. Now, we'll go to the next question. The vegetation of savanna consists of grassland with scattered small trees. The forest development in such areas is generally kept in check by one or more or a combination of some conditions. Which of the following are such conditions? Burrowing animals and termites, fire, grazing herbivores, seasonal rainfall, soil properties. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Okay, 1 and 2, 4 and 5, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 3 and 5. Now, this particular question is somewhat tricky. Okay, it is difficult to arrive at answers due to the arrangement of options here. Okay, all the statements seems to be right in the case of savanna, but we don't have an option with all the given statements. Okay, there is no option with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to arrive at the answers by eliminating what the unsuitable or inappropriate options, and we have to arrive at most suitable options. Okay, now we will go back to the question again. So it is given in the question itself that the savanna region consists of grassland. So we know that savannas are regions which has a latitudinal spread between 10 degree to 30 degree, and it occurs along the continental interior parts, right? So I will draw the climatic grid of savanna. Suppose this is 10 degree and this is 30 degree. Along the eastern part, we will have monsoonal climate, and along the western part of the continent, we will have desert, and here in the middle part, we will have savanna, right? This is the distribution of what? Climate in the tropical regions, right? So savanna is the interior part, lies in the interior part of continents. So we know that in the monsoon region we will get rainfall in almost 4 months, okay, and again in the savanna again we will get a seasonal rainfall 3 to 4 months only, but the amount of rainfall will be less compared to the monsoonal rainfall region, right? So there will be a seasonal rainfall over there, okay, but it will be less compared to the monsoonal region, and this seasonal rainfall in effect affects the distribution of vegetation, okay. Due to the less amount of seasonal rainfall, savanna have only grasslands over there, okay. Monsoonal region will have rainforest just because of the huge amount of rainfall, okay. So we know that it is the basics for the distribution of vegetation. The important factor is amount of rainfall. So amount of rainfall, seasonal rainfall is a important factor affecting the what? Distribution of vegetation. Now here they are asking about the forest development in such areas is generally kept in check. The forest development in that particular region is kept in check by different factors, okay. Now we understand the fact that due to the less amount of rainfall, we don't have monsoonal forest in savanna region, we have only grassland. So the seasonal rainfall is the one important factor which kept in check the what? Forest development, okay. There are no trees in savanna region but only grasslands, okay. So the first factor is right. Seasonal rainfall is one major factor which checks the forest development of savanna region. Now we got 4 as correct. Now we will go back to the options. With 4 we have only 2 options, 4 and 5 and 2, 3 and 4. So we know that from the options it is clear that 1 is wrong, okay, because there is no 1 with here. So we can easily eliminate the first statement. Then we have to confirm between 2 and 3 and 5, right? So look into the options 5, soil properties, okay. Now what about soil property? Does it affect vegetation? Yes, soil affect the growth of vegetation, but can soil be a factor which check the growth of a forest in a particular region? No, okay. Soil have some common properties and it affects the distribution of vegetation over there, but it cannot check the forest development, okay. Change in soil, different soils will have different vegetation, okay, that point is right, but a particular soil type cannot check the vegetation growth in a particular region, okay. So we can eliminate that soil properties, okay. If it is difficult to understand, we will go to the second statement. Fire, forest fire. Now what happens when forest fire is there? The forest fire, frequently occurring forest fire in these regions, okay, these forest fires check the growth of what? Vegetation, or the forest fire will extend the period of succession, or it will result in secondary succession. So we know the idea of secondary succession, right? So when the vegetation grows for a long period of time, after that what happens is during summer season forest fire occurs, and all the vegetation which has grown so far, it will be burned out by the forest fire, and now there will be a barren land. Now the secondary succession happens in that particular area. Again some small grass and small trees starts to grow over there, okay. So frequent forest fire checks the growth of huge vegetation, okay, or bigger vegetation, okay, or forest fire and frequent secondary succession periods, it prevents the growth of forest in the savanna region, okay. So only grasslands grows there, okay. So it can be a correct option. Then grazing herbivores. Again, grazing herbivores, what happens to the grazing? It prevents the grazing of herbivores, prevents the conversion of forest grasslands into forest region, okay. So from these assumptions we can arrive at the answer. It is 2, 3 and 4 only, soil cannot be a deciding factor to check the forest development in a particular area. Okay, so the answer is C. Most appropriate answer is C. Actually, this is a very tricky question and we have to know so many concepts here in order to understand or in order to arrive at the answer. So, the right answer is C, 2, 3 and 4 only. Okay. Now, we will go to the next question. Consider the following statements. Moringa or drumstick tree is a leguminous evergreen tree. Tamarind tree is endemic to South Asia. In India, most of the tamarind is collected as minor forest produce. India exports tamarind and seeds of moringa. Seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used in the production of biofuels. Okay, now we have 5 statements given here and our options are 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 4 and 5, 1, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 5. Now, it is very easy to arrive at the answer if you know something about moringa tree. Okay, so moringa is a most common type of tree which is found in our surroundings, right? So, it is commonly found in dry regions. Okay, it is grown well in dry regions. Okay, and you know that in the dry regions, it is difficult to see a evergreen tree. Okay, we cannot see a evergreen tree in the, it is difficult, not absolutely, but it is difficult to see a evergreen tree in the drier regions of or drier parts of the world. Okay, now moringa or drumstick tree is a leguminous evergreen tree. It is given as like that. Moringa is a leguminous tree. Yes, that is right. But it is not a evergreen tree. It is a semi-deciduous to deciduous tree. Okay, it sheds its leaves during the dry seasons. Okay, or it will become dry. Okay, so here the evergreen part of the particular statement is wrong. So this statement becomes wrong. So when the first statement is wrong, you will arrive at the answers easily. Okay, here we can eliminate all these options and only the option B is left and that is the answer. So if you know the basic thing or if you are watching your surroundings, okay, so we cannot predict this question, these type of questions. We can answer these type of questions from our life experience only. So moringa, if you are watching a moringa tree which is in your surroundings, you can see that in some seasons it will become deciduous, like it sheds the leaves or it looks without any leaves, right? So if you are if you know that particular fact, then you could have arrived at the answers. Now, otherwise, we will go to the second statement. Tamarind tree is endemic to South Asia. Again, tamarind tree is not an indigenous tree. It was brought to India from Africa. Okay, so if you can eliminate the second option also, you could have arrived at 2 options. Okay, B or C. Okay, then all the other statements given are correct. In India, tamarind is collected as a minor forest produce. That is very correct. And India exports both these tamarind and moringa seeds. Okay, seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used in production of biofuels. That is a general statement. Okay, in biofuels we can use different types of these kind of vegetables or seeds. Okay, any type of crops. Okay, so this statement cannot be wrong. Right. So if you know that this statement, it is a general statement. Okay, so we can see that, or we can arrive at least 2 options. Okay, so the answer is B. So that's all. Thank you so much. I hope you understood all the geography questions. We will come back with other subjects. Thank you.
Amrita IAS Academy.